Hello guys, welcome to Amanda vs All Hunters. Before we get into the kind of versus all hunters, I just want to clear up something real quick. So the first thing is actually the fact that you don't get terror shocked when you vault over an obstacle while your image is hit. So let's just see here, right? I vault over. You still don't get terror shocked. The reason why I'm kind of reinforcing this, it's because throughout the video up against Camp Hunters, I say quite a lot about the fact that she's such a great rescuer because she can't get terror shocked. So I'm gonna slow vault this, and as you can see there, it's not even a terror shock hit. It's a normal hit. There was no terror shock there being induced as well, right? So then, like, the reason why I'm kind of putting this out here first is because of the fact that, like, up against rescue characters throughout the video, I said, hey, she's such a great rescuer, I don't think anyone counters her. That's kind of exactly why. So just so everyone knows as well, it's kind of the reason why I want to say this. She does not get terror shocked if she interacts with objects. So then if I just slow vault over as I get hit, it's a normal hit. It's not a terror shock hit. So she actually doesn't get terror shocked. She does get terror shocked normally, but not if her illusion gets hit. But let's move on towards the video. Okay, let's see. For the first one, right after we got everything stated out, let's try whether or not this puppet can be countered by us. So this puppet is going to chase us first, as we're going to freeze frame for ourselves. And when you take the damage, it does instantly cancel, unfortunately speaking. So we can actually try this once again. So it's going to be drop down right now. That's going to chase after us. We can deploy this out, as they still chase after us for some reason. Okay, this does look a bit bugged, but that did go back to chase after us once again. So you can actually bait this out of Ember quite a lot. And one of the nicer things about this is honestly the fact that, let's take for an example that this cipher machine is the chair, because we don't have any other chair nearby. If Ember deploys a doll and you're going into rescue, you could do this. And then the Ember chases after you for some reason, and it goes back, and you do this, and you can immediately rescue afterwards. I just feel like this girl is going to be so good when it comes to forcing rescues as well and confusing the doll. But like from Ember's Ember side, it is a little bit bugged, to be honest with you. It is quite bugged. Now, from our case, let's test the second one, which is his doll. So by technicality speaking, when he teleports towards his doll, just as a showcase, he is shown towards the nearest survivor, so he faces the nearest survivor. What we're going to do here is we're going to apply freeze frame on ourselves and walk this way. Let's see which direction he faces. He faces after our illusion, so he doesn't actually know where we are if, let's say, you know, our illusion is out, which is kind of the nice thing as well about Ember. But I do think Amanda has quite a lot of features that can counter Ember, which is so good. Let's see Amanda versus Joker. So for Joker, there's really only one thing to test, and that's our freeze frame while he pulls out that rocket dash. So does this get delayed? It does get delayed, it seems. It actually does get delayed, and you'll take the hit afterwards. So if that's the case, as we disable cooldown, I do feel like we could potentially speaking just flywheel this, and then like we can bring this back, and right before it ends, let's flywheel it. Oh, we didn't flywheel on time, that's my bad. But you definitely can flywheel this apparently. So there you go, that's Amanda versus Joker. You know what, let me just flywheel this properly for once. I need to be able to do it at least, because I'm not the one on green pin, so I have to at least give it a try. So 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna flywheel. There you go. So the flywheel actually does come true. So basically speaking, what you have to do is freeze frame yourself right after you hit your photo world. You do this, and then you can probably do this together. You can actually tap it together, the flywheel and the cancellation. So there you go. Amanda's actually really good at going up against Joker. Okay, let's have a look here with Amanda versus our Gamekeeper. So from the side of Gamekeeper, what we want to test out here is, honestly speaking, his hooks first. So I'm just going to deploy some traps down. What we're going to try to do here and see is, does the hook get fully consumed? Let's give it a try. The hook comes out. We get hooked in. And then we do this. So the hook, I think it actually does get consumed because you can't recast it again. So basically, Gamekeeper, when he hooks and he hooks on towards the illusion form, it's considered an actual hook, right? I can turn off disable cooldown. You can't really see it from this point of view, but from my point of view here, when the hook comes through, it goes immediately into cooldown. So you can actually use Amanda to counter Gamekeeper, really well. If we just give Gamekeeper some more presence, so when he has his chip hook ready, let's see what happens here. So we're going to enable cooldown depletion, excuse me, and I'm gonna use it. And then Gamekeeper hooks us. We do get the chip damage, as you can see, but you can counter it with a simple flywheel. Thinks, oh wait, never mind, we didn't do it properly. I should have flywheel first and then cancelled. Let's try that again. So I'm going to do this. Freeze frame. Oopsie daisies, I did the wrong one. Let's do it again. And then I will flywheel freeze frame, and there you can see we didn't apply that additional chip damage. So it was meant to be half health, but we actually got through it. So this is such a great counter up against Gamekeeper too. Now, not only that as well, you can get rid of as much abnormality effect as possible. That's basically around. So like with 5 traps here, what you can do is you can freeze frame yourself, run through all of it. I'm quite sure since this does get consumed. Apparently this does not get consumed. Oh, it doesn't get consumed. Oh, does it not get consumed? Hold on a second. I thought it does. Hold on. Let's give it a shot. Oh, there you go. You need to consume it like this. You need to consume it like this, which is a bit weird. But then you can flywheel it later on as well. Huh, it's quite an interesting ability, honestly speaking. Because, like, we got trapped here. But I thought since you reduce abnormality effects anyways, it should work. Let's try here one more time. Freezing effect. Let's deploy this here. And then we can deploy this here, but it doesn't get stunned. Deploy this here, doesn't get stunned. Deploy this here. Okay. It's a bit interesting because I thought you can actually get rid of all of it, but you don't apparently. But then when you fly, oopsies, when you flywheel, it should get rid of most of it, unless it's a bug or it's because I'm on red pin. Hold on, let me try flywheeling these 3 real quick, just to give it a look. Yeah, these 3 do get consumed. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So when she walks past this herself, it doesn't get consumed, but you can force it. I think. Can you force it? You can't force it, so there's one. But you can, okay, so you basically speaking, you can only force one. You can only force 1 trap. So it's overall not too bad, but you can still walk past him. But like, wait, you know what? Let me try one additional thing. What if there are multiple layers here? And then I just walk past the 4 with freezing frame. So we don't actually get trapped. And then we do this. Oh, so we can just walk past them. Oh, we can actually just walk past them. If you want to consume it, you need to reapply. And then you need to flywheel cancel. Oh, but you can only cancel 1. You can't cancel everything, as you can see here, right? This has been consumed. Oh, okay. That makes more sense now. So from the side of Amanda up against Gamekeeper, you can walk through these. You can just walk through these and you won't get abnormality effects. Okay, that's so fair. That's actually so fair. Okay, next will be Ripper. Ripper actually has 2 that we want to test out here. So the first one is actually her chip damage. So Ripper's chip damage here, if we just throw it out. Oh, I didn't even aim properly. Hold on. We're going to throw it out. It does apply, but you can flywheel this. It does apply, but you can flywheel it. It actually doesn't really cancel anything. But I guess now what we're going to try and do is, since we have cooldown, reset it. Let's freeze frame. Let's see if a normal Foggy Blade does anything. A normal Foggy Blade also gets consumed like that, but you can flywheel it. You can flywheel it. I'm just not timing it properly. Sorry, guys. There's nothing I can do about it if I'm on red pin. So let's try this again. So it comes out. Then I flywheel cancel. There you go. It does get cancelled. It does get cancelled. Oh, but there you go. You can actually counter Ripper pretty nicely as well. Oh, there you go. Especially with flywheel too. Damn. But you know what? I'll be fully honest with you guys. Realistically speaking, you don't have to do that. All you guys have to do is to do this. And then there's nothing Ripper can do. If Ripper wants to hit, then he can hit, but it might not land, since he only has 1 Foggy Blade at the end of the day. So there's also that as well. If that's the case, let's try one additional thing. What if Ripper lands a normal attack on us, which means a normal Foggy Blade attack? So it's quite literally a normal Foggy Blade attack. So the chip damage does come true if it's a normal normal chip damage attack without the Foggy Blade. Let's try again. Yeah, so the chip damage does come true. So realistically speaking, right now when you're playing up against Feaster, if the Foggy Blade lands, it's okay because you can flywheel cancel it. right? But if the normal hit damage lands, you're absolutely cooked, so just keep that in mind. So now we have Soul Weaver. For Soul Weaver, there's actually a few things I would like to test out, but we're just going to deploy some webs across this area first, so it's a bit easier to test out, right? But basically what we want to test out here is to see whether or not during our illusion form, we can get rid of these webs. Well, not illusion form, but freezing frame. So I'm going to freeze myself as we walk past these. You actually don't obtain anything, but yeah, your form also don't obtain anything. It doesn't really consume it. And like, if I cancel it, there's really no abnormality effect, so like you actually don't consume this, unfortunately speaking, even if you're in freezing frame form. Because I do feel like maybe some people want to like flywheel these, but then not even flywheel can cancel them as well, which is honestly speaking pretty funny too. But I guess the next part about Soul Weaver now would be the fact that what about her spit? And that's what we're going to test out right now. So I'm going to go into freezing frame here once again, and I'm going to get Soul Weaver to spit on me. So when the spit comes through, it does show. So if you want to cancel it, just flywheel cancel. And then there you go. But the cobweb effect is still landed on towards you. So the cobweb effect is still there, as you can see. It was just kind of reset it instantly there as well. And if I just demonstrate it one more time, she can spit us. And then the cobweb effect will be, yeah, it will be permanent, because you can see, right, it just reset it there instantly. Next will be Geisha. So for Geisha, what we want to test out is actually her butterflies. So I do genuinely believe the question here is, can we cancel out the butterfly when it's being thrown out? Sorry, that was on me. But then like when you do freezing frame, the butterfly is actually on the illusion instead. And I don't think, wait, I think we actually can dash to it, but I'm just running on the wrong side. So let me do it again. There you go. Geisha can dash towards your illusion, by the way. So please keep that in mind. She actually can dash towards your illusion. But I do think now the next question will be, if we turn invincible, and then can she throw the butterfly on towards our illusion form? I guess if that's the right way to say it. So let's throw a butterfly here and see. It actually does get applied, but then if Geisha dashes, you can kind of play around here for a really long time, or you can just cancel it instantly, I think, if you're behind the wall. But that's that for Geisha. Okay, so for Woo, it's actually pretty interesting. We have two to test out. The first one is, can we counter Soul Siphon? And I do think Soul Siphon can be applied, as you can see there on towards your main body. Let's just take this for an example. If I don't cancel Soul Siphon, okay, if I don't cancel Soul Siphon, it's still applied on towards you. But it does seem like the duration is less because it was initially on your illusion body. So just keep that in mind as well. Now the next question is, when you get that full Soul Siphon, can you counter it with Flywheel? So we're gonna Flywheel that hit. If you Flywheel hit the Soul Siphon, it doesn't get cancelled. I don't think that was cancelled, but we can try again. So Woo here one last time. We got the max Soul Siphon, and I'm going to Flywheel cancel. It doesn't get cancelled. So this basically speaking, you can't cancel the Soul Siphon. It's not considered an abnormality effect. The next part will be his Unwavering Belt. So from on his Unwavering Belt side, we're going to actually stand outside of the area for now. What's going to happen here is we're going to do two things. The first thing is the main body, well, the illusion body with the Unwavering Belt. You can see here, if we cancel the abnormality effect, it doesn't really affect you. But this abnormality horrified is still here. So like from your side, what you do have to be careful of is when like your illusions takes multiple of these and then you keep failing them, when the abnormality comes back, it's applied on towards you too. So running backwards is running forward is running backwards now. So do keep that in mind. Now what we're going to try to do is we're going to force these two here once again. So I'm going to cancel it. So that's number one. And then we're going to try and see if we can flywheel it. So then this will be number two. You actually have the abnormality effect now. Can we cancel this? So flywheel cancel. You can't cancel it from the side of Woo 2, unfortunately speaking. This abnormality effect is still here. So like from the side of Wu-chan, don't get me wrong, right? If you keep it like this, you won't have the abnormality effect on you. You can just keep bringing this back. However, you will have the after effect, which is here. The same goes for White Guard as well. So if we just go White Guard here, the same goes for White Guard as well. If White Guard lands, you know, the whole Soul Siphon on towards you, excuse me. If White Guard lands the whole Soul Siphon on towards you here, what you do know is that the abnormality effect is already taken into place. So then the cooldown, if you can see on the bottom right, it's only like half or wherever it was left. So even for a Wu Chanming, there's not much they can do when they try to land that Soul Siphon or the Unwavering Bell. So just keep that in mind when you're playing up against Wu. Okay, let's have a look at Photographer. So for Photographer, as we saw in the skill description too, you can't counter Photographer. So right now we're kind of just gonna wait around and see whether or not this will take into effect. But while we are at it, why not go towards the Siphon Machine first, as I'm gonna rush for it. So from the side of the Siphon Machine, what we want to actually test out here is if I have this at like, hold on, I'm gonna cancel that real quick. So I'm gonna do it now. If I have this decoded just a little bit, so it's going up a little bit now, will this continue? This won't continue, so this actually gets fired down. Unfortunately speaking, right? We also didn't really take into effect of what we wanted to take into effect as well. But at least now we know, hey, if you want to try rush a Photographer and you have that applied, it might be best for you to use it instantly. But from the side of Photographer as well, even if you are in this mode, it doesn't counter the Photo World's hits. It just doesn't. And even normal hit speed, it gets applied as well, so keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. But that's that for photo. I'm not gonna go through much more of this just because it was in the skill description already. Okay, Mad Eyes is actually plain and simple. What we want to test out here is, can we get chipped ourselves? So we're gonna try chip the illusion form. Here you can see the apply comes true, but I'm quite sure that you can just flywheel this anyway. And as you can see, you can actually flywheel it. The next part, what we want to test up against Mad Eyes is, can we vault over his walls in this form? Can we actually vault over? I'm gonna Alt X vault over. Okay, we did break it, but let's see whether or not we can flywheel it now. We can't flywheel it? Question mark? Hold on, I'm gonna try this one more time. Let me just make a bigger wall, because I don't think I timed that flywheel correctly. Okay, let's try this one more time. Alt X. And now I am going to flywheel cancel. No, you actually can't flywheel it. You actually can't flywheel it. So this can delay the effect, but you can't actually flywheel it. Let's try this one last time. So this time, instead of manually canceling it, I'm going to... Oh, wait a second, wrong way. I'm going to do this. I'm gonna Alt X. Okay, so this time, instead of manually canceling it, I'm going to wait until this fully disappears to flywheel. So in 3, 2, 1, flywheel. Oh, you can cancel it. Oh, you can cancel it. Oh, never mind, guys. Sorry, I was so wrong. I think Red Pin done me dirty right there. Red Pin definitely done me dirty. So you can flywheel it, apparently. But if I flywheel cancel, oh, it does come true. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Never mind. I'm so sorry. Oh, wow. She counters Mad Eyes. Let's move on. Okay, next is Feaster. The question here is, right, does Feaster's tentacle aim towards the illusion or aim towards her? Let's just see here. So we slap it down. It actually aimed towards her instead. And as you can see here, the effect doesn't immediately take into effect too, so we can flywheel it. But you know what's really scary about this? What's really scary about this is the fact that, let me see if there's a... okay, there is a chair over there. I'm gonna bring my Feaster over towards this chair as well. What's really scary about this now is the fact that if Feaster has a tentacle close to the chair, that simply just means you can freeze frame yourself, go in for the rescue for free as this comes down, because it cannot hit you. Because it actually cannot hit you at all, because it doesn't know where you are. That is quite crazy. Okay, that was just me hitting myself there by accident. But honestly speaking, that is quite crazy. If we see here, right, I'm going to put my freeze frame here. We go towards the chair. This gets slapped down towards that direction. You don't get hit. She's honestly speaking a great rescuer. But this is only reduced to 5 seconds as well, so you need to use this fast when you come in for the rescue. So basically, sneak in, freeze frame, and then instant rescue up against a Feaster. That's actually crazy. Not only that as well, you can pair this up with this ability, which locks the chair as well. So you freeze frame, lock the chair, and instant rescue, and there's nothing Feaster can do. Next is actually Dream Witch. For Dream Witch, what we want to test here is when the patroller gets placed down and this gets thrown out, what happens? So basically we see that's currently being bit but we can keep changing this up towards us. And you can see up here as well, the duration is still cancelled down. So you can actually buy 10 seconds of free patroller time for yourself up against the Dream Witch 2, which is quite insane to me. So instead of 4 bites, you only get 2 bites if you use your freezing frame. This girl is crazy for me. This girl is actually crazy for me. But then once again, right, if you do get hit by the illusion, not by the illusion, by the main leech, it does come true. But she counters patroller so well as well. That is pretty strong in my opinion. This might be different when she is giving freezing frame towards the other survivors, but that is honestly speaking so strong. You know what? Now that I think about it, what if I drop the patroller down, freeze frame myself, and then go bite? And then right before this ends, what if we flywheel? What if we flywheel is the question. So I'm gonna flywheel here. I still have the patroller on me, which is unfortunate, but you get 2 less bites. So instead of 4 or 5 bites, you only have 2 bites up against that patroller. That's so good. Next is Axe Boy. So for Axe Boy, what we want to test out is, what if we run out of his area? Do we get the slow debuff when he is at max presence? He is currently at max presence, by the way, just to showcase. We do get this abnormality effect that we are slowed down afterwards, but what if we freeze frame? So the abnormality effect actually doesn't come true, and if we cancel freeze frame, the abnormality effect comes in. I don't think you can flywheel this. I'll be fully honest. Can you flywheel this? Let me try flywheel this. Hold on. Flywheel cancel. You cannot flywheel this, but you don't get the abnormality effect until you cancelled out your living frame. So there you go. Actually works pretty well up against this guy as well. Now, not only that too, let's just see whether or not we can get Axe Boy to get something on towards our thing. So this does get applied. We get the half health mark. But you can flywheel it. Quite literally, you can flywheel it. So that's another counter. Okay, so from the side of I do think it's quite obvious from the side of Evil Reptilian, the moment he starts jumping, you can start freeze framing yourself. So then like you can just keep changing so he can't hit you at all. Right, but we're not going to talk about that. What we are going to talk about here is actually his crash down. So I'm actually going to stand here, freeze frame myself, run up. The Reptilian's going to try crash down on me. The crash down did not apply because I wasn't even in range. Hold on, let's try this again. So we're gonna crash down here one more time. Crash down did come true, but you can flywheel it. So yeah. The next good question, I feel like it's about Bloody Queen. What can Bloody Queen actually do if we hit the illusion with our mirror? Is it applicable? It is not applicable. You can flywheel it. I didn't flywheel that properly. Sorry, let's try it again. Oopsie daisies. So if you use the mirror, you can flywheel it, because realistically speaking, this gets hit, it goes down, but you flywheel cancel it, and that's a whole BQ ass counter. Well, down the drain you go, my poor lady. Down the drain you go. Okay, so next will be Bonbon. For Bonbon, we're going to do this quite strategically. What I'm going to do here is I am going to put bombs down simultaneously, where when we use our illusion, we can see whether or not we can tank these bombs. So the freezing frame comes out first. I'm going to chip myself, and then I'm going to use my bomb to chip. So that's 2 chips. That's 3 chips. Can we get chip number 4? We can. But we actually can't get chip number 4, but you can actually land chips on towards this girl and it'll immediately apply afterwards. However, she can still flywheel it, by the way. So if we just reduce my fear here once again, and if I start timing these properly, so I'm just gonna freeze frame, do that instantly, do this, do this, do this, do this. So you can see there's 3 bombs there, right? And then I flywheel it. Okay, you can flywheel, but I'm just not doing it properly. You know what? We'll do this once. So this should land. I'm going to flywheel cancel. And as you can see, the flywheel did instantly cancel it. So you just have to time it correctly. I just couldn't time it correctly because I'm controlling 2 devices at the same time. But that's a whole lot Bonbon counter. And you know what's even better? Very good up against chair camp as well if you're using this too, because like after the 5 seconds you can just flywheel the effect instantly, even without tie turner as well, by the way. Okay, so for Disciple Land is quite interesting because there's two different interactions. The first one is if you land the cat on towards the actual main body, what can happen here is she can just freeze frame herself and it gets off her. Right, so that's part number one that I want to show everyone. She can freeze frame and get it off of her, so it's actually crazy. But you need to make sure that Anne actually stepped on the cat already beforehand, or else it'll just come back to you as you saw it there. The next part is when you freeze frame herself, the cat only goes on towards the main body, as you can see there too. But once again, if you cancel it early without her stepping on it, it will be on you right now. So just keep that in mind as well, okay? So like those are her two interaction up against Anne's cats. But the nice thing about this is when she freeze frames herself and Anne throws the cat and then stuns, as we can see here. I'm just gonna move myself up. You can flywheel it. You can flywheel the stun. So cooked, guys, cooked. I don't how many are we countering today? This is a regenerable item, by the way, guys. It is crazy. So you can see, right, that's a stun, and then I can flywheel cancel, and then you don't get stunned no more. So it's literally one item, one cat. That's crazy, man. That is crazy, man. Next will be Violinist. Violinist has three things we want to test. The first thing is actually his string. So I'm going to freeze frame myself here. The string comes out. The damage does come true, but I mean, you can flywheel cancel it, which is absolutely crazy. The next part about him is actually this. So the demonic notes. What we want to test out here is I'm just gonna pray a little bit. What we want to test out is if we throw out our freezing frame and the notes land on towards our freezing frame, will that be applied on towards us? So that's what we're gonna see here. So I'm just gonna get this to keep attacking. As you can see, we are slowly stacking up. We actually stacked up to max there. So that's 3 out of 3. So just keep that in mind as well. The effect is still stackable, and you cannot flywheel the effect as well. You just cannot flywheel the effect, apparently speaking. Now, not only that too, the next thing we want to test out here is actually his max presence. So from the side of his max presence, we want to, basically speaking, do this, freezing frame, and we're going to throw that out. So the damage does come true, but you can flywheel it. But you can flywheel it. Yeah, I flywheeled there properly. There you go. That's a full counter up against Violinist, chair camp and chasing general as well. That's crazy, man. Okay, next is actually Sculptor. So for Sculptor, it works almost the same as Bomb, but we're just gonna start spamming here for these to land, right? But as you can see here, you can actually get so many chips in and you're already full chip down, but you can flywheel it. So what does it matter? So what does it matter? Lol. But you can flywheel it, so what does it matter? One additional thing as well is the fact that you can actually get the statues to push this towards the Sculptor. So like you can still move it. But what matters is if you can flywheel it. Right? Can you flywheel it? Can you flywheel it? Okay, now moving on towards the next question for Undead. Does this work up against his dash? So we're gonna dash his. Oh wow, you can flywheel this too. Oh wow, you can flywheel this too. So well guys, I don't know who else there is, but all what I know is the fact that I can flywheel this. But I do think normal hit actually doesn't take into effect as well. We're gonna do one additional thing. What if he has 50% surge charge? As you can see there, right? That is also okay, never mind. It doesn't matter, you can still flywheel it. You can actually still flywheel it. I guess the next question now will be if we freeze frame ourselves and he does a max charge. The damage does come true, but you can flywheel it. And he's actually in cooldown as well. Oh, you can actually flywheel it. The next part for break, we're just gonna make this easier for me since we're playing Breaking Wheel. Can we land spikes when he's in wheel form? So let's just see here. So the spikes does get applied, right? It definitely does get applied, but can you flywheel it? Oh wait, I don't have flywheel ready. Oopsie daisy. Sorry. Let's try this again. So I'm going to move this out here. The question now is, can you flywheel it? How many additions are we gonna do of this? I don't know. But there you can see, right? There's spike number 2. Can I flywheel this? I can't flywheel the spikes, I think. I'm just going to you know what, I don't even need to remove the spikes. Before we test anything more, can you flywheel this? So the snap comes true. Oh, you actually get injured. Okay, so you actually get injured if that comes true. So there you go. We're just gonna test this one additional time. So I'm gonna do this and he's gonna change towards wheel form. What we are going to test now is, can I flywheel that trap? So I'm flywheeling here. It's still applicable on towards you. Okay. So breaking wheel is actually her main counter because there's nothing she can do up against a breaking wheel. Even the spikes can land on towards her, which is crazy for me. But I guess that's an abnormality effect. Hold on a second. There's one additional thing I want to try. Hold on. This. Oh, she just run past it. Hold on. What if I do this? Ooh, that gets consumed. So in this case, you can flywheel it. You can flywheel it. Okay, next is going to be Naiad. Naiad, there's two things we want to test out. The first thing is just this normally. So we're going to throw that back. You can see there is the effect coming through. And I think this can get fully done, but you can flywheel it. You can flywheel it. This is you can flywheel everything almost up against this girl. Now what we're going to test is we're just gonna gain a little bit more moisture. We're gonna get around like 50 stacks of moisture here. Okay, 40 stacks isn't too bad. I just want to gain a little bit more. So we have 50 stacks of moisture here. What's going to happen is Naiad is going to throw that out and then dash me. Hold on, let me just get in position. So then the dash comes through, but you can flywheel it. So that's a full art counter. That's actually a full art counter right there. Okay, let's see here. Next will be Wax Artist. So for Wax Artist, we're gonna get her towards 88 stacks. From what we know as well, she does get stunned. So you can see the stun is there. And when we cancel it, we just get stunned instantly, right? But like, as we do know as well, when he whacks us, we could, by technicality speaking, freeze frame ourselves, do this, and flywheel it. So the flywheel can actually be fully occurred here. The next question will also be his hot wax. So I'm just gonna freeze frame myself here as we're gonna lock a lot of hot wax on towards us. The damage does come true, but you can still flywheel it. So her solo containment is absolutely insane. I'm not gonna lie, this solo containment is definitely something else. So from the side of Nightmare as well, Nightmare has the same interactions as Geisha. So if you throw this out here, the crow is on us, but when you get off it, it's actually on the other girl instead. So just so you guys know, he can't actually teleport towards our Lanternist that easily. But the crows still stay on you, so you actually can't flywheel the crows. We can test out whether or not we can flywheel the crows by doing this. And then we're gonna throw the crows out. So here, as you can see, the crow is on us. We're gonna flywheel cancel, and the crow is done on us. So that is definitely not counterable, just so everyone knows. I do think the other question is, can he lock? Can he lock your illusion form? Yes, he can lock your illusion form. Yes, he can hit you in your illusion form as well. But what I would say is, the nice thing about it is, as we give her a little bit more presence, is the fact that when you throw the crows out, and then when you run out in illusion frame, the teleportation is only towards that frame, so you can just bring it back here instantly, which I do believe is very nice up against the Nightmare. Okay, so next is going to be Clerk. For Clerk, it's pretty obvious what we're going to do here. Clerk is going to give us one of this, so a scroll, and we're just gonna decode and see whether or not this can put anything into effect. So what we're gonna do here is, this is still decoding at 10%, and once we let it go, as we can see here, it's still at 16%. We press H, this comes out true, but this can still be depleted. So just keep this in mind, that this can actually still be depleted regardless of how it works. Now, that's only part one. The next part about this is, if we get the scrolls on towards us and we start decoding, but then for some, oh wait a second, I made a mistake, excuse me. Let us redo that once again. Now what we're going to say is, we are going to get a scroll on towards us, we are going to lock this cipher machine and we're going to start decoding. So let's say maybe I decoded 3% of this cipher machine and this comes back, and then she immediately uses the depletion. So the 3% still goes back regardless of what happened, because this is still here, this is still being activated, and even if you press H, it's been depleted, unfortunately speaking. So Clerk can counter up against Amanda's Cipher Lock, unfortunately. Well, not Cipher Lock, but like Cipher Rush, unfortunately speaking. Now, the next side of Clerk will actually be her attack scrolls. So from the side of her attack scrolls, can your freezing frame counter, or can you flywheel it, is the next great question. So we're going to test it out right now. So is this flywheelable, or is this applicable? It is actually flywheelable, so if you flywheel cancel, it does not get applied. And now for the final question, if you have scroll on towards you and I forgot to turn on cooldown depletion, and you use your items, it seems like no matter what you do, it won't be recorded. Or it will be recorded. Will it be recorded? It is not recorded. It is not recorded because Clerk has invalid. Actually, Clerk doesn't have invalid. Let me just increase the presence. Clerk now has invalid. So now what we want to test out here is we're going to give that towards her. We're going to do freezing frame, vault over the window, cancel it. And as you can see, it doesn't really work at all. We can try this here once again. You can see here, right? Invalid is open. We can vault this, and then she cancels it. Invalid. Oh, invalid is not there. Hold on. Hold on. Oopsies. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, let's try this one more time. So invalid. We're gonna test out invalid here. So we lock, we do freeze frame, we vault over the window. Invalid does not take into effect. Because now what we're going to do is we're gonna lock, vault over this, cancel, and there's invalid there, as you can see. We can try this once again, right? So let's say we freeze frame and then she locks our freeze frame. She can't lock our freeze frame, it seems. Oh, she cannot put a scroll on her freeze frame. So your best case scenario actually is get the scroll first and then change and then vault over. And then you can keep doing this because this just immediately cancels the scrolls. Never mind. It's very similar to Magician where she can instantly cancel the scrolls. So she is such a strong container up against Clerk. It's crazy, man. Okay, hello peeps. So just for the people wondering as well, it's just that can you break the pallets while Clerk has a recording scroll? So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're actually gonna record this. And then since we recorded now, I think I should be able to reset pallets here. So when we reset pallets here, okay, this is just going to be invalid for a little bit. But what we're going to test out is we're going to use living image. And then we're going to use Clerk scrolls to get rid of this pallet here to see if it works or not. So freezing frame comes out first. So we're going to drop this down and then instantly drop this. It seems like the pallet wasn't destroyed. You know what? Maybe I did it wrong. Let's give it another shot. Let me reset the pallet here one more time. So this invalid will be here once again, and we're going to turn on cooldown depletion. So once again, what we're going to test out here is I'm going to be freezing frame. I'm going to do this. So you actually can't break the pallet. So it doesn't actually give you the prompt to break it until that is over. So just have it in mind that Clerk actually does get countered by this as well. Okay, next here will actually be Hermit. Hermit is quite simple to do because you can't, well, we all know how it works here. Oh, oops, that didn't even land. We all know how it works here. So you can flywheel this, and then you don't get stunned by technicality speaking. And of course, if you do want to see the stun animation for yourself, let's land that, and then let's cancel it. As you can see, I get stunned here instantly. And also from the side of Hermit as well, you don't really counter this. You don't really counter the cipher machines in general if you do lock it, because it is still very, 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 very slow. Because like what I can tell you about this is right after we finish decoding some of this, you can see this is very slow too, but right after we decode some of this, we're going to go straight towards that really big cipher machine, and you can see that there's actually progress there too. So right now, I fired with that by accident. So right now we're going to press H, so that's 12% in. And if we highlight it here, as you can see, right, it's still being shared. So she actually can't counter Hermit when it comes to cipher lock, but the 10% extra decoding speed is nice from her side as well. Okay, now it's Night Watch. Night Watch has a lot to kind of offer as well. The first one that we're going to see is if he uses his mini fog, you do get pulled in. So keep that in mind that you actually do get pulled in. The next thing what we're going to test here is if he has his mini fog, Do we get slowed down? No, we don't. The abnormality effect doesn't come in here up against Night Watch, thankfully speaking. This also is the same for a Typhoon. So as you can see here, it's only that ability that gets that gets pulled back, and not actually your main invisible body. Now, everyone did have questions as well in regards to whether or not you can vault over pallets or windows when it's being dropped down by freeze frame. So that's what we're going to test out here. So I'm going to drop it down. As you can see, that's frozen frame. You can still vault over it. Night Watch can still vault over it. So Night Watch can still, by technicality, counter you. But realistically speaking, I think you'll be fine because of freeze frame, because you can still cut him for a very long time. It's just that the pallet drops is not going to help you much, unfortunately speaking. We'll move Night Watch towards this pallet here now. I'm going to go freeze frame. He's going to get that. We drop that down and it's an instant vault. So there is that on Night Watch. Now then, from the side of Opera Singer, there's really only one thing that I will need to test out. Is her illusion considered a wall? Yes, it's considered a wall. So by technicality, you can use illusion to stop her from dashing sometimes and then keep doing this. Just so then she can't really catch up towards you and know where you are, because she needs to hit this, lol. I think they may need to put a cooldown on this, but I don't think they will. But from what we know, this can be considered as an obstacle as well. So that simply just means that if I get Opera Singer to walk over here, and let's say for an example, I drop this here. So by technicality, oops, hold on. So by technicality, she can't walk over this because it's an obstacle. As you can see here, she barely squeezed through. So there you go. Okay, next will be Fool's Gold. So for Fool's Gold, it's really just this. Apparently you can get chipped, but you know, even if you get chipped, you can fly with it, you're fine. The one additional thing I want to say about Fool's Gold is, generally speaking, the fact that if you're really worried about not being able to pull off the rescue, you can lock the chair first and then go invisible form and instantly perform the rescue, because you don't get damage. And this forces Fool's Gold to hit your main body instead. Because like all you need to do is lock the chair, go into freeze frame. This isn't within range of chip damage ability effects, so you can just immediately perform the rescue. Unless you can get TERRORSHOCK, then that's a whole different story, but you all know what I mean. I guess we can test this out right now. So I'm gonna vault over this right as he hits me. So in 3, 2, 1. You don't get TERRORSHOCK, you don't get, you don't get TERRORSHOCK regardless. Okay, moving on. Okay, so from the side of Ivy, there's actually quite a lot. It's very similar to Magician as well. When you do get Leech, as you can see here, you have Leech on you, go into illusion form. The Leech apparently is not on you anymore. It's actually on the other illusion side. And if we cancel it, it's now actually back on you. So this Leech is now actually back on you. So by technicality speaking, as we turn this off, if you freeze frame, the Leech, this scream isn't on you. So by scream here, you can see that's not on you. That's on towards your illusion form. So not even Ivy can scream at you instantly, even if she wanted to as well. But that's also not only it too. What we want to test out here is actually when you leech, I do believe the question here is, can you maybe flywheel it? Or is it not flywheelable? Because as you can see here, right, because your doll is in the leech form, I think you should be able to flywheel it. Well, you should be able to flywheel it by technicality speaking. We can try here one more time. You should be able to flywheel it, but you can't get the leech off you, which is unfortunate. But let's just see here. We're currently around 90. Okay, we're at 100. Flywheel cancel. You don't get stunned. So it's the nice thing about IV2 is that if you're almost at 100, you can just deploy this down and then flywheel yourself. Now the other nice thing about this is the fact that if she does teleport on towards your gravestone and gets 100, even better, flywheel cancel. So like we know now the leech doesn't actually de-leech like the Clerk scroll, but you can do quite a lot. You can do quite a lot. Let's next talk about Goatman then. So for Goatman, I think it's quite obvious. The first thing that what really counters Goatman is if you drop a pallet down, there's really nothing much Goatman can do, and he can't break it for the next 1 second to 1.5 seconds, depending on if you use Living Image or not. But I do feel like the biggest question comes with his cages. So we're going to use Living Image here as we move over. If we switch over here, you can see you can by technicality play against a Goatman like this. And I feel like she's going to be so easy to play up against Goatman because of her 10% increased movement speed as well, to the point that I don't necessarily think this is going to be such a huge issue too at the end of the day within, you know, this thing as well. So like she could just switch over instantly without any worries too, let's not forget. From that side as well, right, I guess it's pretty obvious that you can't vault over windows or pallets where you're like this. So just keep that in mind, and even when you drop down pallets, this should be permanently locked too. So if we just go find a pallet like over here real quick, and what we are going to do is I'm going to try put this cage near the pallet. That is not near the pallet. Hold on, let me redo that real quick. So we're gonna put a cage right on that pallet. There you go. We use the freezing frame. You drop that down. It's just non-interactable after all, so this is quite common sense. Okay, next is going to be Hullabaloo. We're gonna do the kind of important one first. The first one is if we use living image on towards the Hullabaloo attack, what will happen here? So the freezing frame comes out first. I'm just gonna move back. Hullabaloo's gonna hit me. The damage does come through instantly as well, but let me just reiterate that this is from main body. Now what we're going to try to do is we are going to try and hit everything from clone. So let me just hit us here once again. Let me reduce my fear, but this time we're only going to use Hullabaloo's clone to hit me. So we're gonna land the red mark first, and then we're gonna land the snow mark as I cancel that out. Let me just reset cooldown depletion there real quick. And what we are going to do is we're just missing mud ball now, so I'm gonna freeze frame run out. Does this get cancelled? This does instantly get cancelled. So even from the side of Hullabaloo, you need to be very careful up against him. But I do think it's fine because you can by technicality just spam this. And there's nothing he can do because it's like instantly changed. Well, aside from the fact that if you're in red, oh, never mind. If you're in red zone, you can't use it. Oh, I didn't think about this. I actually didn't think about this. So apparently, if you're in freezing frame, you see how you can change here instantly. But if you're in red zone, you are cooked because you can't change it over at all. Oh, wow. I barely found this out. I forgot about that part about him too, but that is pretty crazy. Okay, next one is going to be pretty easy. We're going to test out all Peddler's abilities. So the first one is actually her roosh binding on the ground. It does seem like you can walk past it instantly, but of course, once again, if you deploy that down there, you do get stunned as well, respectively speaking. But then of course, once again, if you want to counter this, I'm going to turn cooldown off. If you want to counter this, just put this on here and you can flywheel cancel, so that you won't get stunned as well. Now, not only that too, we're gonna do this quite simply. So I'm gonna be in a straight line here with Peddler, so I can just instantly tap and it's easier for me. If the vines do come out, all you have to do is if the vines do come out, all you have to do is freeze frame, and then that gets locked. But as you can see here, right, you still get stunned anyway, so you need to flywheel and cancel it. Let's not forget. The next thing about Peddler is, of course, her chip damage ability. So we're just going to get a chip damage ability there real quick. And we're going to freeze frame ourselves. When Peddler uses her chip damage ability, it's considered as a chip damage. So the damage actually does come true. But once again, you can flywheel cancel. But once you flywheel cancel, you will still have the after effect of mineral affinity as well. So just have that in mind too when you are going up against Peddler as well. But I just feel like it's so strong because of the fact that you can use these abilities to counter the stuns and then flywheel it instantly later on. Or even just freeze ability yourself and then like drop down cancel it instantly where the stun actually does come true. It is pretty strong, you know what, from the side of Lanternist as well. I don't think there's much left to test. If you guys want to see metal affinity, I guess sure, but I don't think there's much on that because it's just normal damage coming through anyways. Okay, finally we'll have our hunter Cueist. So for Cueist, it's pretty simple. There's only one thing that we have to test around here, which is basically speaking just the cue balls. So from the side of cue balls, the question is, you can actually run past it, but if you want to fully consume this, you can do this. But I do think when you cancel it out, you don't actually get suctioned in. So like from the side of Cueist's balls, there's nothing he can do to counter Amanda at all. So there is also that too, which is unfortunate for him. Because you could just get a free rescue like this. I think it's because of Amanda's invisibility form, which is why. But yeah, that's that for Cueist. But I hope everyone enjoyed this. She's a bit invisible, but I hope everyone enjoyed this. I hope this was short and sweet for everyone as well, and I will have everything time frame too. But once again, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed Amanda versus All Hunters. I don't think I missed anything too deep, so this should be the majority of the questions answered as well. But once again, thank you for watching, Sugar Buns. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye bye for now.